Hello and welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. It is Saturday and it is the weekly energy card reading. What that is every week I let you choose, I let you the viewer choose from one of 3 tarot decks. After you've made your selection, I'd go ahead and pull cards to read what the energies will be like for the next 7 days. This week's energies would be from February 29th, which is Leap Day, to March 8th. This is considered a universal reading where it doesn't necessarily have to be the week of February 29th to March 8th for you to glean any information. If you feel drawn to the video or if you feel drawn to a pile, then to one of the decks, then there might be messages contained for you at that time. So what I will do is I will go ahead and let you choose. This week, to clarify, I am going to use some additional kind of Lenormand based cards, which is the fairy tale oracle cards, fairy tale fortune cards by Liz Dean. So as usual, I just kind of ask that you choose from your intuition. If you see a deck that you feel kind of drawn to or a pile, there is also a stone for each. The first deck is the Greer Tarot with a lapis lazuli stone. The second deck is the Vice Versa Tarot with a Dalmatian jasper. And the third deck is the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes. And then this is also a jasper stone. So I'll go ahead and freeze the video. If you need more time, please feel free to pause, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So let me go ahead and I'll move these other cards forward. I think we'll be able to see okay with the print of my tablecloth here. And let's go ahead and see. So deck number 1, Greer. What energies will you have? What is the general energy of the next 7 days? Ooh, that was quick. Okay, middle of the week. Oof. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this as a general energy there. Thank you. Wow, that came out quick. All right, and what is our fortune card? What is deck number 1's energy? Oh, thank you. Oh gosh, that came out right there. I'm gonna go ahead, and you saw that. I'm gonna leave it right there. Sometimes when cards fall out like that, where it falls kind of plays into it. So I'm going to read it as your week, and then this is kind of a general theme, and then your card came out there. Oh, wow. So in the beginning of the week, guys, you got the 3 of Swords and you got the 6 of Pentacles. So I definitely feel like I have a feeling that there's just going to be kind of an energy of feeling kind of separated from something. There's going to be a situation that requires you to give more attention to one person or circumstance over another, and the whole entire situation is really making you feel it's making you feel kind of isolated and kind of hurting. The 3 of Swords is not a happy card. There are no bad cards in tarot, but what it is the beginning of the week is you can kind of tell. What you can see is in the 6 of Pentacles, you've got pentacles on each side and it's equal, right? You've got a scale here, 3 on one side, 3 on another. But what you see here is you see one person, the person who's giving, and then you see 2 hands, right? So there's 3 people in this card, and there's 3 swords. So I'm really kind of getting a feeling like there's a situation where you kind of have to, in the beginning of the week, there's a situation that you have to decide who you are giving resources to, and it doesn't just have to be money, it can be time or attention. Pentacles just represent what you value in life. And I always think of kind of if you've ever, read the book about the 5 love languages, what you value is different for every single person. But I definitely see that in the beginning of the week, there's some kind of situation that you have to take care of. There's some situation or person that you have to give time, energy, money to, something valuable. And what it's doing is, by you giving time to this other thing, it's making all 3 persons involved feel estranged. I'm not getting a terrible pain card from this. Like, I know that the 3 of Swords always looks so painful, but I'm just getting a sense of separation and sadness. So there's some kind of situation that, in the beginning of the week, there's some kind of situation that you have to give your attention to, you have to give some kind of resource to, and that is taking you away from something else that you want to be giving your time and attention to, and it's making all of the parties involved feel bad is what it is. And I don't see this energy lasting. Again, this is just a weekly read, so I don't think this is going to last forever, but I feel a sense of sadness. You see the dark clouds, and you see the other thing that I think of when I see the 3 of Swords is that if you remove, have you ever seen those injuries? And I know it's kind of a morbid thing to say, but have you ever had those injuries where you something stabs you, but you can't remove it? Like, that makes no sense. I'm sorry. Like, if you've watched any of those emergency shows, if you accidentally hit something, if you accidentally, step on a nail, or if someone gets stabbed, you can't just pull out the knife without causing more damage. And I think of that when I see the 3 of Swords. It's almost like you have to leave the swords in order to not harm the heart, right? Like, if you pulled out one of these swords, or all 3 of the swords, it would make the heart bleed, right? And then in bleeding, it could kill the heart. So what I'm seeing that this situation is one that might have been going on for a while. It's something that you're obligated to do. It's probably something legal or something that you're obligated to do, but it's definitely making everyone involved. It's like that knife that you can't pull out yet. It's like you have to go to the hospital with the nail in your foot, or you have to go to the hospital with the knife in your heart so the doctor can remove it, right? Because as soon as you remove that knife, as soon as you, I just feel like this is a delicate situation, and as soon as you pay what is due, you're going to have to take careful measures to make sure that everybody involved is okay. So I know that's kind of a weird interpretation, but that's kind of the energy at the beginning of your week. Now, I get a feeling as if you're going to be finishing this obligation, like you're going to be wrapping up something, because by the middle of the week, you got the 8 of Wands. Now, the 8 of Wands is, again, I'm not seeing any cups anywhere, so I do not think that this is any emotions. We've got a lot of money, and we've got energy and action. So in the middle of the week, something's gonna move forward really quickly. Like there's gonna be some kind of green light or some kind of forward movement. The beginning of the week feels kind of stuck in place, right? Again, with the swords and the heart, it's almost like you're afraid to move. That's the other feeling that I'm getting with this, is that, almost like when you have a splinter, you're not going to move and aggravate what's blocking you, right? You almost got to keep it very calm and not make any sudden movements. But I have a feeling that you're going to be satisfying some kind of commitment or some kind of agreement, and by the middle of the week, you're really going to be itching, or you're going to be taking some forward movement towards what you want to do. The Wands is very, fiery, and it is fast movement. The other thing is, maybe it's possible that you might have an opportunity by something in the middle of the week that's just encouraging you to want to just go, right? You just want to go. Now, by the end of the week, you got the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is that very independent card. It's someone who has all the pentacles. They have enough pentacles that she's like wearing it as a necklace, right? This is the sexy single independent card, right? This is the, you know, the person who doesn't need, you know, is a free spirit. You know, they're self-sufficient. They're self-made. So I have a feeling that something, this is actually a really good spread, guys. I do think that there's something kind of delicate. You probably have to pay back something or finish up some kind of obligation. By the middle of the week, you're going to feel like this is taken care of, and you have to handle it with care. You have to remove those swords and be ready to stitch up the heart, you know. But by the middle of the week, you're going to be wanting to take really fast action. And by the end of the week, you're going to be feeling kind of free. You're going to feel both stable and free of this situation. So, you know, that's kind of quick for a week, but again, you would know what it pertains to. And I definitely just get the feeling that this 3-part energy, these persons involved, that energy is really going to ease up by the middle of the week. Now, your overall energy, the 2 cards that wanted to come out, is you got the Wheel of Fortune and you got the 2 of Swords. Now, one other way that I can kind of interpret this is Wheel of Fortune is fate turning in your favor, right? You see a wheel and you see a king and a queen on top, and then, you know, as the wheel turns, you know, someone is falling off. But a lot of Wheel of Fortune, I did do a How to Tarot on Wheel of Fortune. If you want to watch that is under my playlists here on my channel. But the Wheel of Fortune is about a lucky windfall. It is also about fate, divine timing. It's about fate turning in your favor. But the one thing that I am kind of getting is that the 2 of Swords, you see how much water is behind this person, but they're refusing to see, right? They're holding the 2 swords, and again, with the 2 scales, and you see this person's looking straight ahead. He's not even looking at the hands. He's just kind of like, I think what's happening is, I think the universe, I think you have maybe been in some kind of commitment that it's been an uncomfortable process, but you've done what you were supposed to do. Like, you know, I have a feeling that this situation made more than yourself unhappy, but you committed to it, so you are not going to walk away from the situation until the job is complete. But what I think the universe is trying to tell you is trying to say, okay, this commitment or this situation is really meant to turn the wheel in your favor. This is kind of divine guidance, but in some way you're not acknowledging your feelings, or you're not acknowledging, you refuse to see, you know, what's going on in this situation, right? Now, I don't really get any indication that this is relationship related. I mean, normally the 3 of Swords with the heart being there can sometimes depict, it does depict third party situations, but that doesn't necessarily have to be people. But I do just think that, you know, yeah, I definitely feel like, again, the beginning of the week, you're adhering to some kind of responsibility. I think by the end of the week, you're going to be feeling a lot more independent. Like, you're going to be moving away from that that obligated energy. But there is a little bit of denial in this situation, where I think the universe is trying to turn you, trying to get you to go in a certain direction. Like, I think it's trying to make you this king or queen, but you might be kind of refusing to see it, right? The only other thing that I can kind of note is that in this Wheel of Fortune card, there is a couple on top there. And with the Three of Swords, there might be an opportunity for something that you might be denying. You might be saying, okay, yeah, I don't want to, once I get done with this, I just want to be, I just want to be on my own. I don't want to deal with anything else. But I really get the feeling as if the universe is trying to kind of tell you that there is something in this situation that you're refusing to see. And maybe the other thing that I kind of get from this is maybe the situation, while it might be uncomfortable, it's for your better good. And if you kind of look at it squarely, like if you take the blindfold off and really acknowledge your emotions over the situation, that you might be able to use this situation to your advantage. Like you don't have to turn around and be, the other thing that I see when I see the Nine of Pentacles is someone who really doesn't need anybody else. Like maybe you were in some kind of team situation, and then as soon as you get done with the agreement, you're like, okay, I'm never going to work in a team again. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to go it alone, right? But I think, again, with the top of the wheel being a couple, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, love related. It could be a teamwork effort, but some kind of commitment that is a team. You're kind of refusing to see that. And there's a lot of benefit to be had by cooperating, is the vibe I'm getting. Now, the other thing that I see is that your fairy tale card, you got the mouse. What's eating away at you, right? And the mouse is, in Lenormand, the mouse is the card that means kind of squirreling away. It means that something is eating away at you and underneath the surface. Like I'm totally getting the Two of Swords from this card. Like the waters look calm, right? In tarot, water means emotions. So the water looks all calm, right? But you got rocky, you got pointed rocks. And this person it's almost like on the surface, you're saying, oh yeah, this doesn't bother me. I'm good. I'm independent. I don't need anybody. I'm good. But deep down inside, there is something bothering you. You're putting on a poker face, but something is bothering you. And I think it is telling you that in order to move forward, in order for the wheel to turn, you might want to acknowledge what it is that's bothering you. It might be a little nagging anxiety, it might be a fear, but something is kind of slowly eroding away at you, and you really do want to take the blinder off and face it. And if you do that, if you are brave that way, then the wheel will continue to turn in your favor. It'll turn either way, but it'll make the process easier. But I know that is difficult to do. But definitely your week looks great. By the middle of the week, there's gonna be some kind of green light that really speeds things up. And by the end of the week, you're gonna be feeling really independent and really self-sufficient. And it feels kind of in a financial vibe as well. But just bear in mind that there might be something going on that has been going on for a while that you might want to pay closer attention to, and really acknowledge those creeping emotions, right? If you're feeling anxiety or something's just really kind of bothering you and you don't know why, you have it all, but why am I still bothered? Really analyze those emotions, because you're on a lucky streak, but there's kind of an undercurrent of dissatisfaction, and whenever you face that, you take away, you'll be golden as soon as you just face those emotions. All right, guys, so that was awesome. So that was deck number 1. So if you chose deck number 2, we got the Vice Versa Tarot. And I pulled this out for my Dungeons and Dragons reading, which is a fantasy read that I do on the 20th of each month. But I was really I was drawn to pull it out. And it was funny, the world card was right on top, and I just had a tarot on the world not too long ago. I didn't take the examples for the world. I did not use this card, but I think it's so great. The corners of it has like neon for the 4 elements. focus, please? It's having a really tough time focusing this week. There we go. So we got Leo, Taurus. That's the Virgin, which is Aquarian or water bearer, and then Eagle for Scorpio. And your stone, you got the Dalmatian jasper. My friend tumbles stones, and he gave me this stone. It's such a pretty one too. It's one of my favorites. I'm glad. I'm just pulling out all my favorite decks today. all right, guys. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking. So deck number 2. What is the energy for your week? Deck number 2. What's the energy for your week? Whoa, there's a lot that flipped there. Here, I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. I'm making note of it, though. I'm making note of it. Okay, just a few cards, please. Middle of the week. Middle of the week. Thank you. Oh, gosh, that came out again, so we're going with it. And yeah, still too many cards. And they're coming, when it flips over, it's coming out in the reverse. So we'll use this to clarify. Wow, guys. I was thinking about this card the other day, and in a minute I'll tell you why. Okay, end of the week. Oh, thank you. And again, this deck doesn't have a formal card back. What it is when it flips, it means that it's coming out almost upside down. It's the inversed meaning. So, can I get one additional card to clarify the Magician in reverse, please? One additional card. Wow. Okay, and can we get one fortune card for, ooh, thank you. You saw that, right? Okay. All right, guys. Wow, you got quite a week. Wow, guys. You got 3 knights. You got 3 knights in the Chariot in reverse. And the Magician in reverse. You got 3 knights, 4 major arcana. All right, I'm just going to stop now. All right, in the beginning of the week, you got the King of Swords. So in the beginning of the week, the first thing I'm noticing is how much armor this person has on, right? And the way that he's holding that sword, he's not wielding the sword, but he is like, I dare you to cross me, right? And what it is the King of Swords is very much the mental king. He is a mature masculine, and he is a strategist, right? You see at the bottom of the card, there's this eagle, and that eagle has its eyes on you, right? And so what it is that you are ready for battle. You're ready for mental battle. At the beginning of the week, you are not showing your hand emotionally at all, and you are seeing everything in a very mental perspective. It is just the facts, ma'am, right? So the beginning of the week, you're really planning a lot, and you're really strategizing, and you are not, you're just in that kind of kingly energy where, and again, you can be a woman watching this read, but you are ready to take action in a mental way. So I think at the beginning of the week, you're going to be doing a lot of communicating. I do see a lot of like emails or text messages with this, and I see you taking a very, I'm drawn to the way that he's standing. He's standing there like, you shall not pass. We need to do this. This is what we're going to do. It's almost like you're not blocking anything, but you are ready to move forward on what you need to move forward on. And again, you're coming out in a king's energy. So you're coming out as okay, this is what we need to do. And it's going to be very mature. It's going to be very mental, and it's going to be very organized. It's almost as if you are moving things mentally. You're mentally communicating. You're communicating and you're moving all the pieces into place to do what you need to do. Now, by the middle of the week, you've got the star in reverse, and this is really a beautiful star. So this is the star upright, and this is the star in reverse. And I love the star in the reverse in this deck because you've got the water bearer, and in the background you have like shooting stars, right? And it looks like this really celestial, being staring at the water bearer, right? Staring at the woman who's in the star. The other thing is down at the bottom you have a red rose, which definitely means passion, and it means, it does mean love. But what it always reminds me, every single time I see this guy, and ever since I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Watchmen, and I think of Dr. Manhattan, I do kind of think of whenever this kind of comes up in a love reading, the star means hope, right? And when the star is in the reverse, it means delayed hope, or it means feeling like you're losing hope, right? And the way that this guy is looking at the star woman, it's just a sense, it's like a longing, right? It's like all these stars are shooting behind him and he's longing, right? He almost seems very detached. That's the other reason that I think of that movie, is that the way the character behaved, he was detaching from his human emotions. And that's what the King of Swords does. He's not an in his feelings kind of guy. So I have a feeling that there's some kind of situation that, not even a situation, but your energies for the week is that you're really shielding your heart and you're getting things done. I'm definitely getting a getting things done vibe. I feel like this is probably communication related. Like I feel like you're giving commands via email or via communication, right? You might be calling people, you might be making the phone calls, sending the emails, and to get the astrologer side of things, we are in a Mercury retrograde, so you do kind of have to dot your I's and cross your T's right now because there's a lot of miscommunication going on. But I really get this feeling like, at the beginning of the week, you're getting things done, you're communicating, and what is amazing is that by the middle of the week, I feel like you are hopeful that all of this effort, that all of everything that you're doing with the king is going, is getting you where you need to go. But you do have a sense of longing there. He's looking at the woman of hope and like almost as if he can't touch her, right? As if he's so far away, but he wants to be there, but he can't. So I do get a feeling as if, whatever projects you're working on, or if this does involve a person, you're really kind of missing, this mental activity is keeping you away from either the person or you feel really far away from the solution, from the outcome that you want. And underneath the star in reverse, you got two knights. You got the Knight of Pentacles and you got the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Pentacles, the knights are the doers, right? They jump on a horse, right? But one thing that you notice about the Knight of Pentacles is that the horse has all 4 feet on the ground and he doesn't look like he's charging, right? But the Knight of Wands is like ready to go at any minute, right? So I really get a feeling as if, I do kind of get a Mercury retrograde feel. Like I feel like you can kind of see the solution or the outcome in sight, or you're looking and thinking, you're kind of longing for that outcome, like, okay, you know, all this work I'm putting into this situation, when is everything gonna be okay? But the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight, and the Knight of Wands is the fastest, well, he's the second fastest moving knight. And I feel like, you know what I see, what I think of when I see these two knights side by side? You feel like you are trying to get things done, but it's almost as if you have your foot on the accelerator and your foot on the brake at the same time, and all you're doing is spinning in wheels, circles, right? So you are going to feel a little bit lacking in hope by the middle of the week. Maybe it is the Mercury retrograde, where you just feel like you're communicating your butt off, you're telling people what they need to do, and it's just not progressing, and you really are getting into that kind of, you're losing hope, like, okay, am I ever going to get, you know, am I ever going to get close enough to hope there? Because hope seems really far away. And, you know, or if you are a man watching this reading, it could very well be a woman. You know, there could be, with the red rose, and, you know, what I'm kind of feeling is, and you got all of the elements here. You got sword. Oh my gosh. The other crazy thing here, guys. Okay, I'll mention that in a minute, but yeah, you got it's almost as if you're trying to get enough money to go forward. Like, as soon as you get the money, or as soon as you get the stability, then you can charge forward full force. But something is holding up the show, right? One other way that I can read this, and just to put it out there, is that if you are a man watching this reading, or you could just switch the genders as needed, you could have your eye on someone, and you could be like communicating with them via text, like you're approaching them in a real mature way. But this person, you feel like you're still at a distance from this person, right? You want this person, but you can't come near them. And this person might have, this woman, if you're a man watching, this woman might have other options. You know, she might have someone real stable around her and someone real impulsive around her. You know, real fiery kind of energy. But otherwise, I am kind of getting a vibe like the King of Swords is you, though. I'm definitely getting that vibe. So in that circumstance, again, I'm going to stick to it, where, you know, you're going to be sending out emails. I really get a feeling as if you're sending out commands, not in a bossy way, but you're getting things done in a communicative way. And by the middle of the week, you just feel like at a distance from your goal. Like, you feel like the goal is still so far away. You know, it's within your sights, but you're just not getting any closer to it. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's your goal is within your sights, but you can't come close right now, and it's frustrating you. So you've got your foot on the accelerator and you got your foot on the brake at the same time, and it's frustrating you. But just know that, you know, by the end of the week, so by the middle of the week, you're probably going to feel a little frustrated. Either that, or you're just going to feel like you're spinning your wheels. Like you're trying, you're communicating, you're trying to go, but you're just not going to feel like you're going anywhere. But again, that's kind of a normal Mercury retrograde thing. I always tell people, when it comes to retrogrades, until Mercury goes direct, communication is going to be a little wonky. A good thing that you can do with your energy, sorry, you were out of focus there for a minute. One way to use your energy productively is to revisit old problems that never got solved from the past. I noticed that tech problems that have been long-standing, old cases that never got resolved, it's amazing how fast they get resolved when the Mercury goes retrograde. So try to revisit those old cases. If you do have to start anything new, just be extra careful, comb through it, and double check everything. You know, double check. If you have to, other thing is, if you have to send emails, double check your do a lot of proofreading before you hit send, because if you're sending any of these emails to important people, you know, you might have typos. But by the end of the week, you got the Magician in reverse. And the Magician in reverse is, this is the person, the manifester. And I did do a How to Tarot on the Magician if you want to watch it. But on the table, the Magician has a wand, he has a pentacle, he has a cup, he has a sword, and he has a magic wand in his hand. When the Magician is in reverse, it means that there is a delay in manifestation. Either that, or this can mean someone who's being manipulative, who's manifesting for the wrong reasons. But again, the vibe that I'm getting is I'm getting a real blocked vibe. Again, like your goal is in sight and you just can't quite get it. So by the end of the week, I think it's just some more of the same energy. You're ready to manifest. You have all of the resources laying on the table before you, but you just, you feel like you just haven't gotten the green light yet. You haven't gotten the green light yet, but it's coming, right? It's coming. So by the end of the week, you're going to be still kind of in that stuck energy. But the only thing I can think of is I'm seeing those race cars, you know, when you're lined up at the starting line and you're waiting and you're revving and you're like, you know, it goes, you know, red, yellow, and then it's like, go. It's like, you got a full tank of gas, you're ready to hit the gas pedal, but right now you can't go yet. And that really makes sense with this because, again, I've got knights showing up everywhere. Now, the other thing is you got justice, and clarifying justice is you got the Knight of Cups, and you got the Chariot. And there we go. Yay me. I just said it seemed like cars that were at the starting line, right? And the Chariot is charging ahead, right? And it's charging ahead with opposite polarized energy, right? But I do think that what this Magician pertains to is what I was giggling about before, is that the Magician has all of the elements on the table. He has a sword, pentacle, cup, and you have the King of Swords has a sword. The Knight of Pentacles has the pentacle. The Knight of Wands has the wand, and then the whole gang is here because you got the Knight of Cups with the cup. So all of the elements that you need to manifest are already around you. You just haven't gotten the green light yet. And I get the feeling as if this might be something legal, either that or you might be waiting for, I have a feeling that something is tied up in legislation, or because you can't go forward yet, right? Now, the only other thing that I can caution is that if this is pertaining to love and you are a woman watching this reading, I think that you being in the Knight of Swords energy, you are being like, take no BS. If someone comes at you, they better come at you straight, because if they try to smooze you or anything like that, you're just not having it. And I do think that you have options. And I think you might have options between a few different people. But just know that towards the end of the week, you might have someone who's kind of in a reversed Magician energy, which is a little bit of a smoozing type of energy. He's a manipulator. So, but on the whole, I think what's happening is, I think that there is something that's blocking you from charging forward. And, you know, the Knight of Cups is a real emotional guy, and the Chariot is charging forward. So I am getting a little bit of a relationship feel from this. Again, I think that you might be dealing with someone who might have been a little bit of a manipulator, but you have options with other people. And I think what you're doing is you're just, you know, you're waiting for the decision, the final call to be made about this person. So I'm sorry, I've kind of gone into two different stories here, but one story, the one energy, and again, I'm reading for a lot of people. One energy is that again, you're going to be very busy communicative wise. By the middle of the week, you're going to be ready to go, but you're going to be kind of blocked and waiting for that hope. And by the end of the week, you're going to have everything lined up. It's like all of your materials are going to be ready to go, but you are going to be waiting for some kind of green light. It could be some kind of final approval through your company. And I do think that when you start charging forward, that it's going to be very emotionally fulfilling for you. It's going to be like emotionally liberating, but right now it's blocked. If this is a relationship read, you are definitely on guard. You're not taking it, you're not showing your hand, you have your armor up, and you might have two people that are trying to get your attention, and one of these persons might be kind of staring at you from afar. But by the end of the week, you might have some contact with one of them, and this person's a little bit of a schmoozer, so you might need to keep your armor on with them, because again, you're going to be kind of judging. I have a feeling that this Knight of Cups might be your Magician reversed, and you're going to have to, again, with that Swords energy, just keep a real level head if you're dealing with this person. Don't let anybody trying to sweet talk you, because what I also kind of get from these two cards is that it might be some empty promises. If the Magician in reverse, and it would be someone that it would be someone that you're very familiar with, that you have some previous water under the bridge with, but just watch their actions carefully, because the Knight of Cups would promise you a lot, and then the Chariot in the reverse isn't really going anywhere. So but whichever energy resonates, either way I see you being in your right mind. I think you're going to handle what's going on very well. And if there is any frustration, try to let that frustration out. Pinning up this type of energy isn't very healthy for you. It also, the other thing is, anytime I see the Judgment, the Justice card, sometimes I think that it might start to make you a little bit, it might make you a little bit hard ass. So don't let anything frustrate you to the point that you start getting cynical. Go for a walk or do something that you like to do. Maybe if you have a craft or something that is kind of your outlet, go ahead and do that. By the end of the week, you're still going to feel a little bit blocked, but you'll know the right thing to do. And the King of Swords always keeps things in perspective. So that's an excellent energy to have. All right, guys, I hope I didn't get too long-winded with that. That was quite a bit. That was quite a bit to take in. Oh, I'm so sorry. But you also, your fairy tale oracle is you got the tree, and vitality and growth blesses your projects. So again, that's where I really felt like the other thing that I noticed is that when you look at the Magician upright, you see how the tree really looks like the bushes. Like you see how you have all the white and the green, but the Magician was in the reverse. So again, I think that you might be kind of blocked right now, but you are this close to getting the green light to go ahead. I would say go ahead and get your ducks in a row. Go ahead and pull your car up to that starting line and get ready. But if this is anything that's relationship related, just use your best judgment and try not to let your emotions rule the situation. All right, guys. So deck number 3, the Tarot of the Southwest Sacred Tribes. What is your week like? What is deck number 3? What's your week like? Thank you. Oh, we got 3 cards there. All right. Deck number 3. What's the middle of our week like? Okay. And end of the week. Gosh, guys. Okay, I'm definitely getting a relationship vibe with this, but we'll read it. We'll read it. Hermit. You got kind of 2 cards to pop out. All right, guys. So deck number 3, the beginning of the week, you got the Hermit, you got the 5 of Wands, and you got Temperance. So definitely, the first thing that's jumping out to me is that I'm seeing a lot of backs here. I'm seeing the back to the Hermit, like he's walking away. I'm seeing the back of 5 people who are, you know, up at the top of some steps. And then you got Temperance. And Temperance is the only one who's looking at you, right? Now, what I'm seeing is at the beginning of the week, you are really going to be checking out a lot. You are probably going to be spending a little bit of time alone. I feel like you have a lot of conflict going on in your life right now, and it could be petty conflict, like the 5 of Wands. It could be, again, the fact that all of these people kind of look like they're kind of younger, like they don't look like they're real old, and everyone's got their back turned. I have a feeling that, you know, it's almost like that. It's almost like, have you ever had those juvenile kind of childish fights with someone, and someone's like, well, I'm just not talking to you. And you know, it's funny that the old adage of cold shoulder rings true, because when someone's not speaking to you, their body language is to turn their shoulder to you, to show you, you know, it's like, okay, when you think about it, when do you show someone your back, right? So I have a feeling what's happening is, I think in the recent past, you had some kind of falling out, probably with a group of people. It feels like more than one, and this could be a family thing. It could be, you know how it is, sometimes you have a little tiff with your family, and then everyone takes sides, and before you know it, you got more than 3 people that you're not speaking to right now. So, but I definitely, and I'm not giggling because it's funny, I'm just saying, you know, all of us have been there. We've all been there. You're not alone. But I definitely get this feeling like the Hermit is the person who is very wise, and he's been subject to he's seen, the Hermit knows everything that he needs to know about the situation, right? He doesn't need any additional information. All he needs is time and space to work out what happened, right? And that's what you're doing. I really get the feeling like you're in the Hermit energy. And you know, this could be something at work. It could be something with family. Maybe you have some kind of project at work where everybody has to, you know, you're trying to get everyone to agree, and no one's agreeing, and everyone's turning their back like, no, you know, the way I want to do it is right, blah, blah, blah. But you feel like you kind of need to check out from that. Like you've had enough of that battling energy. You've had enough of this, you know, everyone hitting each other over the head with the staffs, that you're like, okay, I've gleaned all of the information that I can from this situation. I'm going to go up to my mountaintop and think about this for a while, because you need peace and quiet. You need peace and quiet. And at the beginning of the week, you are taking your peace and quiet. You're walking away from the drama. I'm hearing no drama. I'm hearing drama-free zone. That's what I'm hearing. And at the bottom of it, you have Temperance. So Temperance sometimes can mean that you're balancing the waters between you and someone else. But here, I'm getting a real strong vibe that you're balancing the water in yourself. Like you, in order to keep yourself on the level, you need to be away from the BS, is what I'm feeling. And it isn't that anybody who's involved is wrong. You know, there is no wrong or right here. But what was said was said, what was done. It riled someone up, or it made somebody want to turn their back on someone else, and you need to check out and get away from it. You know, have you ever felt that feeling when you just need to clean your aura? Like, you know, that's the other thing, is that you're kind of a ball of energy. You almost have this little force field around yourself, and when somebody is being negative, or you just had a tiff with someone, you said some things, and then you're like, I just really need to step away because I need to clean my aura. I need to get away from this energy. And I do feel like you're doing that. You're making yourself a priority. And but I definitely feel like there's some kind of conflict that you're walking away from, and it involves a group of people. It kind of feels like family, but it could be, it could be something at work too. Maybe you have a group of people who are, how sometimes when you're hashing out things, when you're in committee, so to speak, and maybe the solutions aren't forthcoming, and you listen to everybody else, and you're like, okay, I've listened to everyone else, let me walk away and kind of get myself straight. But it's very good that I think that you are keeping yourself on the level with it. The Temperance card is about recalibration. It's about balance. The other thing that I noticed about this is that it is also about kind of the spiritual balance. This person, it is normally an angel that's balancing those waters. So I think that you might be meditating or doing your version of meditation. So it doesn't necessarily have to be sitting on the floor with your legs crossed. It could be maybe you like to work out. Maybe you go running on the treadmill. Maybe you go and play tennis, or you go swimming. I have a feeling that whatever you do to get in touch, to kind of check out and connect with the universe, or to connect with your higher power, your higher source. And I do think that the universe, or however you name it, your higher power, God, the universe, is really helping you stay on the level too. I think that's spiritual. I am getting kind of a spiritual feeling from this. But that's that's your energy at the beginning of the week. Now, by the middle of the week, my gosh, you got the Empress and you got the Devil. And there are no bad cards in tarot. I've how to tarot on all of the major arcana. And if you want to, under the playlists, if you ever want to watch the Empress or watch the Devil. But basically, by the middle of the week, I am definitely getting kind of a family vibe, y'all. Just because in the middle of the week, I feel like you're gonna feel very trapped. And you're gonna feel kind of, I'm seeing a mother. I'm seeing a mother. Now, this could be the mother of your children. It can be a wife, or it could be your mother. But the only other way, there's a third way I could read this, but for right now, I'm just gonna say that the Devil is kind of an addiction kind of energy. It's an energy of feeling stuck, feeling trapped and kind of obligated towards something, and like you can't get away, like you're chained to something. Now, it could be that one way to interpret it as well is that you could be the matriarch of your family, and you could just feel kind of by the middle of the week, you could be fighting that kind of, there is kind of a depression that comes sometimes when you're the mom. It's not scary or bad. It's just kind of, part and parcel of the name and the title, that when you take care of everybody else, when you cook, you clean, you schedule everyone's appointments, you make sure everyone's okay, sometimes you can feel a little overly obligated. You almost feel like you're trapped. And I don't mean to say it this way, but kind of like you're in hell, especially if and again, with that Five of Wands, especially if you've had a week where no one's getting along, or you're fighting with your kids, maybe you're fighting with your spouse. If you're a man watching this reading, and again, assign the genders as needed. There's no, you can be a man in the Empress energy, but the other thing is, if you're a man, you could have some kind of obligation to your mother. Maybe your mother needs something right now. Or as a woman, maybe your mother needs something right now, and it's making you feel like really kind of obligated in a heavy way. The only other thing that I can think of is sometimes this can mean that if you are married, or if it's she seems like a positive, nurturing energy, but you might feel like you are obligated or trapped with someone who is either the mother of your child or is this real nurturing kind of person. And you feel like you're stuck, like you can't get away from this person. But I don't see this as being a bad energy though, but I think towards the middle of the week, you're just going to be feeling blue. You're going to be feeling like you can't get away. And it is going to feel like a little bit of a social hell. And, sorry guys. But, not in a bad way, not that you don't like helping people or being there for your family, but if I had to say it, I'm sorry, I'm not giggling, it's not funny, but what I'm hearing in my head is my family's getting on my damn nerves is what I'm hearing, and believe me, we've all been there. I love my family dearly, but of course, there's always going to be times where you're just driving each other crazy, and then you just feel like you're stuck, I really don't want to be dealing with this right now, but it's your obligation. You're obligated to your mother's obligated to you. Now, by the end of the week, and I am getting, I'm feeling like this might be a little bit of a spousal thing, but by the end of the week, you got the 5 of Cups. And underneath and clarifying it is you got the 10 of Swords and you got the 2 of Cups. So I'm kind of reading this one of a few ways. And I don't want you to be afraid. There are no bad cards in tarot. So, but if this is a spouse, I'm kind of getting like a wife or an ex-wife vibe, but you're going to be feeling a little bit stabbed in the back. The way that I kind of read this is the person is looking at the 3 overturned cups, and then you got the 10 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. I'm sorry, 10 of Swords, 2 of Cups. So, excuse me 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Again, I am reading for many people, so I just want to, give all of the scenarios here. One of two things, and this is just a weekly energy. I do think that I have a feeling that this might be a little bit of a relationship thing. You might be kind of looking back at a failed relationship, and I read this one of two ways. Maybe you saw something online, or you saw something with an ex-partner. Like an ex-partner might be dating somebody new, and you see it, like either you see him out in public or you see it on social media, and then you feel very stabbed in the back by it. Like you're feeling like it I'm getting a feeling that these two cups that are upright kind of feel like the 2 cups here. Now, the other way that I read it also is that, the 10 of Swords is on the 3 of Cups side, and the 2 of Cups is on the 2 of Cups side. So there could be, one other thing is that I feel like you've got a lot of conflict going on this week. In the beginning of the week, it feels like it's going to be kind of like you against the world, and you're keeping yourself on the level. By the middle of the week, you're either going to be dealing with a spouse, or you're going to be feeling burnt out, kind of in a motherly way. And by the end of the week, I think so this is how I'll read it. By the end of the week, I think that you're going to be focusing on all the misfortune that's been going on. And you know how sometimes when you've got a lot of sadness, I always call it stacking. And what it is that anytime you're like, well, my car broke down, and then, I got written up at work, and then, I forgot my wallet and I couldn't buy lunch. You start listing all of the misfortunes, and it just makes you feel worse, right? And I call that stacking. You're stacking up all of what's wrong in the world, and you're not seeing what's right. I have a feeling that with what's going on in the beginning of the week, I think you start off the week really trying to keep it on the level, and you're doing a good job. You're keeping it on the level, but by the middle of the week, you're going to either feel burnt out with your family, or, you know, your wife might be your wife or your mother might be making you feel a little weighed down. And by the end of the week, you're just going to be kind of bemoaning. You're going to be looking at like, oh, look at all the spilled cups. Why are my cups always spilled? You know, why is it da-da? But you're not turning around and seeing, you know, what could go right. And, you know, because again, I see the swords next to the spilled cup side. Like the other interpretation of the Ten of Swords, it's not all scary. The other interpretation of this Ten of Swords is being a little bit over dramatic. And I'm not saying that you're being over dramatic, but the Five of Cups can be like the bemoaning your fate, like, why is this happening to me, you know, kind of crying over spilled milk. And the Ten of Swords, we always like to say, you know, that's a lot of swords. Why is this person still standing if they have that many swords in their back, right? So maybe you are just kind of seeing only the bad and refusing to see the good. And I have a feeling that there might be somebody, while all this is going on, you know, while all the family or work drama is going on, there might be someone around you who's actually very kind and supportive. The Two of Cups doesn't always have to be romantic love. It usually is. But I do think that this person is the Two Cups behind you that you're not looking at, right? So I do think that there's probably someone who's very kind and supportive that's there, but maybe you're refusing to call them or reach out to them. They might be contacting you, but the other thing that happens is sometimes when our life starts getting all drama, sometimes we're afraid to reach out to our friends because we don't want to burden them with our problems. But I really feel like this person wants to be there for you. So by the end of the week, you know, if you really are kind of, if you're feeling in a dark place and you don't want to spread the misery, I understand. But definitely, you know, keep an ear out. If there is someone who's trying to reach out to you, you know, maybe just pick up the phone for a few minutes. You know, I think it would do you a lot of good. I think it would make you feel better. And I do think that, you know, by the beginning of the week, you're fighting the good fight. But, you know, as the week progresses, you know, life might get a little bit more, you know, challenging. And by the end of the week, you really might need some support. Because if you're feeling like this, you know, definitely call someone, you know. And you see the other thing is I see this person holding a cup, and this other person is just kind of like, you know. I think you're that person who's like, and the other person is trying to share or at least listen to your emotions, right? You know, they want to listen to your emotions. Now, the two cards that you got are actually very positive. You got the Fish, which is money, luck, and creative flow. And then you got the Anchor, which is hope, wealth, and security. So I'm definitely seeing kind of a money vibe here. There's no other pentacles in the spread, but I think it's telling you, and again, sometimes when I see the Fish, I think of staying in the flow, like, you know, go with the flow is the vibe I'm getting. And then the Anchor also means enduring. It means that I think that what it's telling you here is I'm getting a real strong message of this too will pass. You know, you're gonna be kind of having some rough waves at the beginning and middle of the week, but try to ride it out. You do have the strength. You have the strength and the endurance to get through this. It is going to feel like, you know, the world's beating up on you, but, you know, don't, you know, you do have supports in place. So lean out to that support, you know, if I would take it as a sign from the universe if someone is reaching out to you, especially at a time that you really are feeling low. So, but all right, guys. So definitely, you know, stay strong and that temperance at the beginning of the week is actually an excellent sign. You know, devil energy is always hard to wrangle with, but just try to stay in a good temperament. You know, definitely do things that make you happy. You know, what if everybody seems to have something, you know, that helps get them out of the blues, and you know, it would be good maybe at the beginning of the week have some activities like that at the ready. You know, so that you can, you know, relieve yourself. That sounded funny. So you can take care of yourself if you are starting to feel like you know, beat down. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to join me back on Tuesday. Our How to Tarot continues. We're going to be starting off with the minor arcana, and we're going to start with the suit of wands. So Tuesday we are going to How to Tarot on the Ace of Wands. And I hope you have a good week, and I hope you can join me then. And I'll see you later. Bye.